What it do, Stacz crew? It's your boy Kidstacz coming at you guys with another video, and today guys we are going to be getting into some Squid Game breakdowns. Now if you have not seen this show yet,
get out! No!
You're facing me.
No!
if you just watched the first episode, look, I highly suggest you get out of here, because I'm gonna tell y'all now, it's probably gonna be major spoilers in this. Obviously it's a breakdown, Easter eggs, clues, hidden details, ending is plain, you know, self-explanatory, right? So if you have not seen this show yet, you do not want to be spoiled. Listen, I appreciate y'all for even wanting to come in here and check me out, but listen, do not watch this until you watch the show. Unless you don't care about spoilers, then by all means watch the show and watch this at the same time if you want to. But I highly suggest you at least watch the show first before you get into things like this. With all that being said, guys, you already know the vibes. Original videos in the link in the description below. Make sure you guys go check that out. Also, if you love the content here, make sure you guys always hit that like button, comment, subscribe, so I know what's going on down in the chat. And then not only that, if you always want to know when your boy drops another video, hit that bell notification. With all that being said, we ain't gonna talk about it no more. We're gonna be about it. You know the vibes.
Okay, so Squid Game is packed with Easter eggs, hidden details, and a lot of clues that hint towards its eventual reveal. The show has taken the world by storm, and after watching it three times since its release, we've come across some mind-blowing details in it that make it even better.
Okay.
Heavy spoilers ahead, so if you haven't seen it, then I'm putting a red light on the video right now. If you enjoy the breakdown, then please smash the thumbs up button, and make sure you subscribe for videos like this each and every day. With that out of the way, thank you for clicking this. Now let's get into our Squid Game breakdown. Okay, so the opening of Squid Game may be confusing at first. We watch as the convoluted rules are explained and see kids play it, who are of course Gi-hun and Sang-woo. This flashback is key as it foreshadows how the game will end, which was of course with a round of Squid Game.
I figured that's how it was.
That's
gonna happen.
Who we learn is a lifelong gambler that's always betting on the wrong horse. Due to his addiction and need to make his life better, he's actually the perfect person to participate in the games. The idea of him betting on horses, of course, foreshadows the future.
Hey man, you gotta get that money sometimes, man.
Squid Game is very much the same thing, just with people being the ones that are bet on. In a way, he's similar to the Southern Gentleman VIP, who keeps picking the wrong contestant. This would foreshadow Jun-ho's death at the hands of the frontman, as the VIP would say, "I always pick losers."
Bro, that one right there was shocking to me, bro. Finding out that was his brother.
To turn around and attack him. Jun-ho was then caught out in this quote-unquote game of life and death, and he's apparently killed. Though I am still hashtag Jun-ho is still alive.
I feel like he is, bro. I ain't gonna hold you. I feel like he's still alive.
Which they do. However, these numbers appear many times in the show. They always represent the middle of the herd in a race, and the numbers also appear in this fashion just before the bridge challenge. As one of the VIPs explains, everyone goes for the middle, and that is to find safety when threatened. It's better to stay amongst the people instead of taking your own risks, but that strategy also proves to be very stupid. 6 also appears again, as there are 6 games that take place over 6 days, and the religious player would later choose the number 6 as it represents the day God made humans and Christianity. Funnily enough, Gi-hun won 4.56 million at the horse track, and this moment is just some amazing attention to detail. Now Sae-byeok does end up helping Gi-hun later on in the bridge game, and this may be her paying him back after she pickpockets him early on. Gi-hun's nice nature
she quit, bro. She quit with the pickpocketing,
even
bro.
after being chased by violent loan sharks, he would help her when he thought she simply fell over. Now these loan sharks offer some interesting parallels when they threaten Gi-hun's kidney. This is similar to how the body parts of the losers in the game would be harvested off, and it lends weight to the theory that they're all actually working for Ilnam. Down on his luck, he needs 10,000 won for a present for his kid, which is the same money he gave as a tip to the betting shop teller. This figure would be constant for Gi-hun, as after winning
Hey, look, my man, he won so much money. He said, "Listen, I'm in a giving mood. I'm about to give you some money," and then he had to ask for it back.
And it makes for an amazing Easter egg in this scene.
I ain't gonna hold you. When I saw that part, hold on, let me pause this, because he's going. He ain't taking no breaks. When I saw that, I was thinking, the first thing I thought of is, dang, that little box that they putting in people in, the dead people, it kind of resembles like the little box that he gave his daughter. Like, that's crazy, bro. That's crazy. And then it just so happens that it happened to be a gun in the box. And then not only was it a gun, it was a fake gun that shot fire. And that's how they died, in the box by fire. Like, man, like, bruh.
Problems. Gi-hun cannot afford to give his daughter a fancy dinner. She's given what her mother perceives as junk food, and says how her stepfather bought her steak dinner, which puts further pressure on him to get money. Gihun's
I
status
ain't
was
gonna hold
too
you,
low to
man.
afford it,
That's
but he
that
would
father
finally be able
pride,
to have
man.
a fancy dinner before the final game, but it was just as miserable as this one. Now from here, his paths cross with the Squid Game recruiter, who gives him
Ain't
two
that something,
options.
bro?
Gihun can either play as red or blue, and though it seems like a pretty shallow choice, there may be other layers to it. He chooses blue and ends up as
I'm gonna say this real quick. Listen, I know y'all know how reactions go, bro. If you don't want to see my reaction to any of this, bro, original video is below. With that being said, bro, I feel like something's up with this dude right here. I really feel like, and y'all gonna see at the end of this little breakdown, I feel like there's gonna be a season 2. I feel like this dude right here, he's behind this shit. Like, not necessarily behind it, but I feel like he got a big part to do in it too, or something, bro. Like, something up with this dude. I don't know. I feel like we're gonna find out in the next season. I feel like something up with this dude right here. I really do. I really do. And then the thing about the little dinner thing, man, that's kind of crazy, because it's like, you know what I'm saying? You ain't got the money to buy the expensive things, but you got the money, or the expensive things are coming your way, but it doesn't seem that rewarding. I think that's kind of like a life lesson learned. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can have all these nice things, but it's like, is it worth it? You know what I'm saying? Like, they done killed a lot of people. They done seen a lot of people die. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, matter of fact, I don't think, did the main character kill anybody? Or technically, Tug of War, technically he did kill somebody, because he was part of the winning team in Tug of War. So technically he did kill somebody. So, yeah.
as a player, but the red card is very similar to the colour of the gods' uniforms. Now whilst the gods seem like they're in control, they're forced to obey the rules and also killed for even showing their faces. They sleep in cells and are given numbers too, so it is possible that they're all part of the
So they
operation,
probably like
just like the
slaves to the
players.
matter too.
The
They
game theme is
probably
kept up
just
throughout
as
the
stuck
gods'
as the other
CCTV
team,
terminals,
except they
as
not the
they're
ones
shaped
getting
like
just straight up
sit-down
killed.
arcade cabinets.
But they do
The
have to obey the
series
rules
ruling
though,
that
so
it's
they're
been
kind of
about
like,
33 years of games so far, so it makes
damn,
sense
bro.
that Ilnam would get this inspiration from the popular arcades of yesteryear. The
Like,
god
that's
symbols
crazy when you
also
think
have
about
a
it,
lot of
bro. I did not know there was 33 years worth of games, bro. That's crazy. They've been doing this shit for years, bro. And it ain't gonna stop. Like, you got people betting on real people like they horses, like they mules and shit, bro. That shit crazy, bro. When you really think about that, man, you think about life in general, bro. You got people betting on your lives, man. You probably got real life people doing that shit, like for real. Like, not maybe to an extent that you thinking, but there's probably some shady stuff going on behind closed doors, man. I ain't gonna hold you.
connections to gaming, with the triangle, circle and square reminding me of a PlayStation controller.
Mm-hmm.
Each shape does have meaning too, as circles are workers, triangles are soldiers, and squares are the managers.
Okay.
The amount of angles on your helmet also denote your hierarchy as well, with no shapes being the lowest tier.
So the square is the
front man
highest
has many
tier. I
contours,
figure. I
and
thought
the
it was
VIPs
triangle for
have
some
a
reason.
ridiculous amount, right up to the southern gentleman, who appears to have the highest out of all of them, which is why he can do what he wants. Ilnam's mask also has a massive amount on them, but we'll talk about that later on in the video. Now,
Yo, you got so much money, bro. Yo, face mask got diamonds, fam. Diamonds and gold, bro. Like, yeah. Hey, bro, my man's got so much money. He's so bored. He's able to, one, give out thousands and thousands of dollars or yen, right? Not only is he able to give out this shit to like hundreds of people, my man has so much money to just give away and still rich, bro. 45 bill yen. Hey, some people got it like that. I mean, I guess we're gonna continue and you're gonna hear about his explanation and all that.
Appear throughout the series at numerous points. When the group play red light, green light, we can see them above the gates at the door. Next to the gates are fake metal windows, and these are made up of the shapes circles, triangles, and squares. The card also
What is
has
circle at,
these
though? I don't
shapes
see the
on them,
circle. I see the
and the layout
triangles
of
first.
Squid Game is of course made up of squares, circles, and triangles.
Yep.
When Ilnam visits his quote-unquote house in the
Yep, his
Marbles
house
game,
had it too.
you can also catch the shapes on the gates
I
outside
caught
of
that.
it,
I caught
further
that.
hinting to him being the one who's behind it.
I caught that.
back
I
to
ain't
the
gonna
game.
hold y'all. When I saw that, and he was saying that was his house, but I saw that on the house, I was thinking like, does that mean he has something behind it, kind of, sort of? Because the way he kind of going about this is a little bit too weird, bro. Like, this dude is really weird. I mean, I guess because he's about to die anyway, so he don't care. But, excuse me, he going about this way too weird. And then he said that's a resemblance of his house, and that logo was on it. I was thinking, okay, well, maybe I'm thinking too much into it. Maybe that's just like they got that symbol on every little fake house or whatever. But then you thought about it, that was the only one they made sure they showed. So it's like maybe he has something to do with it. I don't know. But yeah, it'll get deep.
And the idea of people playing with their bodies is set up here, as every time that Gi-hun loses, he gets a painful slap, but if he wins, he gets money. Now, I'm not sure how lucky Gi-hun is getting the chance to play a game for billions, as I'd have noped right out of there just seeing the creepy doll for red light, green light. However, if the series
I ain't gonna hold you. When I saw this crowd right here,
visit the
bro,
doll at Makaland Horse Carriage Museum. Now, speaking
bruh,
of people whose lives have been ruined,
I
the guy
was
whose
like,
number is on the
hell
card
no,
has also
bruh.
complained that he's received non-stop calls since the show aired, and I feel so sorry for him. Now, with his winnings with the recruiter, Gi-hun heads off to treat his mother, which is reminiscent of how Sang-woo would ask Gi-hun to give his mother money before he ended his life in the final game.
Yeah, that right there was sad, man.
Picked up, and the password is red light, green light, which foreshadows the first game. Upon waking up, Gi-hun realizes that his number is 456, signifying that he's the lowest there, with Ilnam, the game's architect, being number 1. Ilnam even translates to first man or number 1 man, giving us an indication of his status. The prize money is of course divisible by Gi-hun's number, and this gives us a further clue to one being in charge. Gi-hun didn't pick up on him saying he knew what was going on, and he underestimated him instantly.
I ain't pick up on that either. I thought he was just
also meet with Gi-hun
counting like he said.
Ilnam as he's in a bed, which mirrors the final scene that the two share together. Now inside the room with all the beds, we get a clue on the walls as to what each game will actually be. However, in a dark twist of fate, the clues only fully start to reveal themselves when people die after red light, green light. However, we see every single game on the wall, which ends with the final one being the Squid Game. Now, music is a prominent part of the show, with the song Blue Danny.
Bro, that one right there, bro, the little cookie cutting one.
This piece of music by Johann Strauss II was commissioned and later urged to be light and upbeat, as his nation Austria had lost to Prussia in the 7-week war. This was intended to keep players upbeat before and after the slaughter, much like the citizens of Austria after that conflict. Other parts of the preamble before going to the game are the cartoony bright-coloured stairs, which are similar to images created by MC Escher. His work of infinite and wacky stairs
there it is,
symbolizes the monotony of climbing up for nothing.
Yep. I was just about to say that. They're constantly walking around in a loop to throw it off as an illusion that they're actually going through all of these different stairs to get to somewhere. And I thought about it, I'm like, wait a minute. This reminds me of that painting, like that endless walking around through stairs and you're not really getting nowhere. It just seems like it paints an illusion. So I was like thinking to myself, bro, they walking around in circles and then they're just gonna lead them through a door, which they could have just did from the jump, just to kind of trick their minds and get them thinking. I guess they don't want them thinking to know their way around, I guess. But there is a scene in here where there's that doctor dude that's kind of running, trying to get away, and he's like going through all these random doors that lead to nothing. So yeah, I see what they were doing here.
Are in a loop, and also most of the time climbing up for nothing. Ilnam is the key in the red light, green light game.
See, like he's just having too much fun, bro.
He's happy and more alive than ever. We know he was in hospital, as that's where he would later be picked up from, but unlike the other contestants, he would not be gassed. He is smiling as it's probably the last time he'll play one of his favorite games, and he's enjoying being a participant instead of a watcher. The creepy
I don't know, man.
There's a Squid Game called Hairpin in her
I think that dude is sick,
and we
bro.
are treated to another hint that Ilnam is special, as he's not scanned by her.
Yep,
Each
I noticed that too.
Gets a green overlay indicating that they're a target. However, Ilnam is completely fine and probably not in any danger. Interesting.
It just happened so fast, bro. You didn't really think about it at the time.
And it is possible that he has a protective ring around him so that the machine can't even.
But I do remember that shit though.
Takes and kills him by accident. Now, the father-son-esque relationship between Ilnam and Gi-hun is one of the most enthralling parts of the show. When they aren't helping each other, they are always incredibly close and finishing games by seconds. It happens in the red light,
bro, I ain't gonna hold you, bro.
Gloating that he beat him, but it would
when you, I ain't gonna hold y'all, bro. I would have, man, look, seconds on the clock. I don't care. I would have sprinted for that line,
and
bro.
Gi-hun would beat him with seconds to go as the character passes away. Though we will never know if he knew that he lost the game, it doesn't matter, as this final scene shows that people will help one another and that there is decency beyond what he believed. It also paints the two as opposites and sets up Gi-hun trying to take down the Squid Game. Now, Ilnam
Yo,
also
see,
gives a
that
hint
right
that
there
the pair
makes me
might be
believe it's gonna be a
related,
season 2.
as Gi-hun says he can't drink the milk and instead asks for chocolate. Ilnam says that his son used to do the same thing and that he'd beat him for it. On a personality level, it's possible that the two also echo one another, as both leave their families in order to get involved with the games. Now, the vote to continue the game leads to some very interesting moments, and it contains buttons that are green and red. The vote starts in reverse order, which makes Gi-hun seem important, but really, it's done to ensure that Ilnam has the deciding vote should it come down to it. Sangwoo and Ali end up in town together, and this foreshadows their partnership in the marble game. At this point, the 10,000 won appears again, as it's the amount Sangwoo gives to poor Ali in this moment. Yeah, it's not all you give to him, is it? You traitor. Now, in this hiatus, a number of deaths
He did kind of
also
betray him. That was
foreshadow.
kind of sad, bro.
Daksu jumped off a bridge to escape the gangsters, and he would later die after falling off the glass bridge. Ali took the money from his boss, but he was later eliminated when Sangwoo stole his marbles. Saebyuk would threaten a man with a knife to his neck, but would die the same way, bringing everything full circle from this. On top of this, Sangwoo tried to end his life in a bathtub wearing a tuxedo, and this foreshadows his final act in which he does this in the rain. Daksu's minions would turn on him and lose respect for him, just like the marble game, and it's sort of like poetry they write.
I like how they
One
did
of
that
those.
though. It did kind of
Now,
match
during
up
the
to like what they
quote-unquote
went through in real
chance
life
meeting
and
with
then
Ilnam
inside
and Gi-hun,
the games.
Ilnam says how outside is torture, hinting that he would rather be inside enjoying his creation. Poor Gi-hun also meets his ex-wife and leaves his umbrella by accident at their flat. This gives us a hint at him always forgetting his umbrella, which he says is his reason for choosing the shape in the now TikTok famous honeycomb game. Now, there's also one key moment here that becomes so heartbreaking once you finish the show. Junho spends the episode following up on leads about the game and tracks down Gi-hun and asks him for help to find out what's going on. Gi-hun could have actually put an end to the game at this point, but instead he participates in it and wins, which puts him on a course to attempt to end things anyway. The players all return, and it seems like Ilnam wasn't actually knocked out, as we see him moving whilst he should be asleep. We start to see the form of our squad in episode 3, and Ilnam further hints he is powerful by saying he won't die easily, which yes, he won't. He's referred to as the old major who's been in the army all their life, and as
I didn't really
learned,
pick
he's
up on
been
that. I
running
thought
the
he was
Squid
just
game
saying,
for
you know,
years.
I ain't going down.
In
You know
another
how
slight
older
hint,
people are. They
Ilnam
feel like they
says that
just
their meals are
they
essentially what his
physically and
wife would
mentally
make him and
tough, so
their kids
they
for
feel
lunch,
like I ain't going
which
down.
further ties the setup to him. Sangwoo's morality breakdown also starts here in the honeycomb game, as he allowed people to basically get shapes that would leave them in very difficult positions.
That was dirty.
Ryu continues his theme of turning on people after they help him by accepting the lighter, and 111's doctor skills are shown for the first time as he handles the game with ease. This makes sense why he's later taken to harvest organs for the gods, and it's nice that it's set up here. The scale of this inside job is shown as one of the gods deletes footage at the start of episode 4, showing there was more illegal activity inside the organization itself.
So my only thing that confuses me, right? So obviously there was some shady shit going on inside of the games, period. I'm trying to figure out and think, like, is there somebody else like controlling like their own like secret motive or secret narrative? Because if this has been going on for years, and 9 out of 10, what they've probably been doing has been targeting doctors. Maybe there's somebody else within the organization that's getting money from it. Because you think about it, the head man, the guy with the black mask, he shot a guy for not playing fair, etc., etc. And of course, the other dude was dead, so he didn't have to shoot him. But he hung them up to show the people in there that there were people breaking the rules. Everybody has a fair chance to win money, yada yada. But we got people breaking the rules. This guy, the doctor, was doing something for these guys because he was getting something from it. But we're not doing that. We playing by the rules. We're playing fair. So I wonder if there's somebody like with a secret narrative within that organization, like working for somebody else to take organs and certain parts of people's bodies to sell, maybe. Like I wonder. They didn't really go on that as much. Maybe in the next season, because I really feel like it's gonna be a season 2. Maybe the next season they'll tell us, but we don't know. We'll have to see.
Organization. Anyway, moving on. Now, some of the characters are fascinating mirror images as well, with Cybyuk and Mianyao being opposite sides of the same coin.
Mm-hmm.
Also, yeah, apologies for butchering all these names. Now, while both are desperate survivors and ruthless, even when helping each other, Cybyuk sees being a lone wolf as the best means to getting to survive, whilst Mianyao uses her craziness and tenacity to blend in with the strongest. It's why she says she's good at things unless she's not, because she uses other people's skills. As the honeycomb game wraps up, we see how Jun-ho learns the hierarchy as he's scorned for being in the wrong place. Later on, he swaps costumes with his manager, which is why he has power later. However, the doctor is fully in with the gods, and you can actually tell they try and keep some alive during the executions so that later on he can harvest the organs from their bodies easier. Further hints that the game is rigged for Ilnam happen as the brawl is called off instantly when he says that he's scared. His bed is also the only one that isn't flipped, showing the respect that those in authority have for him. Mianyao has a little coitus session with the gangster, and he says how he thinks that she will be responsible for his death that night. While he didn't die when he predicted, she does kill him in the end.
Yeah, she technically is still responsible for your death, sir.
And is forced to seek a new team who call her Old Woman.
They both was using each other though, I ain't gonna hold you.
Here, as he knows how to win at Tug of War. The guy is an expert in all of the games, as he of course played them when he was growing up. Now during the Tug of War scene, we even see a hint of how Ilnam would have escaped should his team have failed. Each person has locks on them to attach them to the rope,
though, weren't they?
which is of course what ensures you go down with your team. However, though Ilnam initially had locks like the rest of the team, they are gone when he wins. It shows he would have just slipped off the rope if it came down to it, and shout out to YouTuber Maxi Doxy for spotting this really cool
Wait, did they ever show? Did they even show him getting the lock on his cuffs, or did they just fall off or something? Yo, I knew something was up with that dude. The way he just smiled all the time, bro. It's like, come on, dog. You can't be serious, my man. I mean, I guess when you that rich, you know what I'm saying? Like, I guess you do crazy things for fun, bro. But this is sick. That's something wrong with that dude, bro. Something wrong with that man.
Detail. Now, it's around this time that Jun-ho also uncovers the data on the games, and when looking through the files, the 2021 starts at number 2 instead of 1. This further hints towards Ilnam being off the books and actually in charge, as he's not keeping records on himself. After the game, it sort of foreshadows how Ilnam and Gi-hun's relationship will go, as the latter gives him something to cover his wet trousers. I think Ilnam actually tricked everyone with this, as beside his head you can catch an empty bottle of water, which he likely tipped over his pants. However,
so what was that part even about? Like, what was the whole purpose of him wetting his pants? So what does that prove or disprove?
Gi-hun the number 1 jacket, which may foreshadow how he could end up in control of the games. Some have said how this is to protect him, as the gods won't do anything to harm player 1. On top of this, I see it as a changing of the god, as the most important players are swapping place, and it's very much a passing of the torch. Gi-hun's kindness is shown once more, as he opts to play with Ilnam in a team game, whereas everyone thinks you need someone strong. He didn't want him to die due to being the odd one out, potentially getting executed, and thus he picked him to be by his side. Ironically, Gi-hun's kindness actually quote-unquote killed Ilnam, or at least it ended the game for him. Whilst he didn't die, if he'd simply left him, Ilnam simply would have skipped this round and went through to the next one. Ilnam would have definitely known this, and this is why the day before he pretended to be very ill and also weak. When the selection process was going on, he also sat at the back, rejected being chosen, and then moved out the way.
That makes sense. Yeah. Okay. So he was either gonna fake his death there, or he was gonna get that pass for being the person not chosen. So that makes sense.
His knowledge and connection to the games by saying that the Marble One takes place in the area where he used to live. He goes looking for his house and comes across a perfect recreation of it, which lets us know that it was modeled on the home he used to have.
If you think about it though, the girl that didn't get selected, the one that killed homeboy, the gangster dude, had she been on the team and he not got selected, he either would have passed and or would have faked his death at that point, right? So he didn't have to play any more games. Because I think he knew at that point, once they got to the glass bridge part, he probably felt like that one was a little bit too much for him, right? If it wasn't for her not being chosen, she probably wouldn't have been there to kill homeboy. the gangster dude. Something to think about.
Interestingly, Gihun also says that the alleyway in it resembles where he used to live, so potentially this is another clue to them being father and son. Now, a big hint that he drops here is that Ilnam says he used to stand behind a pole and watch his son and their friends play games together. This was completely unbeknownst to them, and it mirrored the way that Ilnam would watch the players in the game without them knowing. However, he also says that he really wanted to play with them, which mirrors how he would enter the games in order to participate.
Right.
In the marbles game, Chi-Yun is paired with Sae-byuk. They talk about the possibility of leaving and going on an island retreat together, and in a brutal twist of dramatic irony, they were all of course on an island together. Gi-hun does show his gambling addiction once more, as Ilnam knows that he will bet it all just for a chance to win. Now, if Ali's death didn't rip your heart out, seeing poor Ilnam die was gut-wrenching, as Gi-hun had
I ain't
to
gonna
go to
hold
the
you.
dark side
When
and
Buddy
abandon his
died,
morals. Knowing what we know now,
the Indian
it becomes obvious
dude,
that Ilnam wasn't killed at this point.
I was
As
hurt. I was like, dang, bro.
Don't see die, but there's also no
There was a lot of
other
deaths in
body
here. I was
when
like,
it comes to
dang,
Wide Shot.
that's a messed
Now,
up show.
Ilnam reveals himself as the Owl in episode 7, which makes so much sense as we see his hands, which look just
I
like
didn't pay
his.
no
The
attention to
owl is
that,
fitting,
bro.
as it's a spirit animal and is wise and fiercely intelligent.
I ain't even
Having
think
a spirit
about
animal
that.
of an owl can bring you luck, which matches up really well with the character as he brings wisdom and luck throughout the entire game. Notably, Ilnam doesn't meet with the rest of the VIPs as he's had his fix and decided that watching is just enough for now. At the end of the show, he said he made the game for entertainment, and now he's finally had the itch scratched, so to speak, which does explain his absence. During the bridge game, we have to mention that it's human nature to hide in a pack of people. This has been a theme of the show as groups formed amongst the contestants, and this obsession with being in a group or team has now become their downfall due to how the bridge game works. Being cautious and at the back finally pays off after being the worst strategy, and it means that
Hey,
Gi-hun
this one right
has
here
the
sucks because
easiest time. Now,
Buddy
should
was
Ilnam
going to
have
get
made
number
it to this
one, the
point,
main
I
character,
think that the lights would
but
have been left
dude
on
took it
so that
from
he
him
could
because
see
he
the
wanted
thickness
it,
of the glass,
and he ended up,
perhaps he didn't want to do this game.
that
as,
game
yeah,
right
those
there,
heights are
yo.
terrifying.
Oof.
Once the bridge game is over, we are left with our 3 survivors, and it makes for an amazing couple of final episodes.
Yo,
They're
that
treated like
ending part right there when
VIPs
they blew up
and
all
then
the
given a
little
steak
glass that
dinner,
was left.
calling back to Gi-hun's daughter. Obviously, they have ranked up as the food is opulent, and they're given fancy clothes so they no longer have to wear the green tracksuits. They are at a triangle table, and if you recall, the triangle is a step above the average worker for the gods. It's a subtle hint they've been promoted based on their game performance, and it sort of just ties everything together. Sadly, my favourite character gets taken out, and we're left with just 2. The final game is Squid Game,
I ain't
and
gonna
just
hold
like
you.
the one with the recruiter,
The main
they're given
character
a
and the
choice
girl was
of
the two
offense
that I
or
was rooting
defense.
for.
After the
Buddy,
last death,
I ain't
we
really
see
care
a
for him
big
no more
change
after he
with
betrayed
Gi-hun no
homeboy.
longer playing cautiously and at the back. This time he chooses offense, signifying his change to be a more offensive player, which we will also see at the end with his rip-roaring rampage of revenge beginning. Gi-hun ends up winning, and this calls back to the beginning, in which he also took that. Once all is said and done, yay, Gi-hun has his winnings, and if it was me, yeah, I'd have bought a shiny
Bruh.
Charizard and a hell
I
of
ain't
a
gonna
lot
hold
of
you.
Funko
I'm looking
Pops,
forward to
the
this
limited
season
edition
2,
ones
bruh.
with the chase sticker on them.
I'm looking
Now,
forward
the
to this
frontman
season 2.
toasts to him and explains the horse metaphor. Due to the findings at the end of episode 5, we know that he was also a player and that he likely won because he's still alive. Perhaps he became bored with his winnings and ended up joining the game in order to oversee it.
That's
The
crazy.
frontman, Ilnam and Gi-hun are all people that ended up putting their family to the side in order to be part of the games, and it's nice that there's these little parallels going on with all the characters. The frontman is somewhat an opposite to Gi-hun, as both are winners, but one chose to participate in an authority role,
That's
whilst
crazy.
the other wants
I didn't
to
think
take
about
the
that.
organization down. I do think that Jun-ho is alive as he's shot in the same spot as In-ho, and the latter does survive, so it makes sense that he would too. Potentially he's had to lay low for a year to wait for the games to start again, so that he can gather evidence, as it was all likely destroyed during his escape. Gi-hun withdraws 10,001 again, with this being the amount that was needed at the start to impress his daughter. After his mother's death, we get a time jump of 1 year, and see that his life hasn't changed all that much. Similar to the VIPs, he's found little enjoyment in the fortune that he's been blessed with, and he's just very, very miserable. However, the big reveal
the lesson
happens,
that
which is
old
one
man
of the most
told.
tense scenes I think I've ever seen. Ilnam, the surrogate father figure in the game for Gi-hun, is revealed to be the architect, and oh my god, who saw this coming? I didn't. I know some of you in the comments did, but I definitely didn't.
I didn't.
We learned that he
I
was simply
kind of felt
bored
like
and
he
needed
had something to do
entertainment,
with it.
and I don't know why he didn't just go to space like the rich men in the West. The connection between the pair continues as Ilnam was a moneylender and Gihun was of course a victim of them. Of course each contestant had debts, but Gihun's was literally as a result of debts to moneylenders, so Ilnam very much forced him through it all as his puppet. They play one last game to see if humanity is truly good, which thank god it turns out to be. After this, Gihun decides to go on a revenge tour and he dyes his hair red.
I can't
The director
wait.
talked about this matter with the Radio Times and said that Gihun's red hair represents that he will never be able to go back to his old self, and it's also a sign of his rage. Red is of course a colour that was associated with the gods in the games, and it shows how he's very much switched from a player into an authority position. It's the perfect way to end the show, and seeing the games are still going on leaves you very hyped for next time.
Yeah,
Overall,
man.
this might be one of the most complex shows today on Netflix, as each setup or shot has a purpose and reason behind it. It's very much a lightning in the bottle series that has struck a chord that's made it a complete global phenomenon. The game itself is of course a metaphor for how the rich play with the lives of normal people,
Right.
and there's a lot of similarities to capitalism and how many are clamoring over each other whilst the rich rule all. Overall it was fantastic, and if you spotted anything we missed, then I'd love to hear it below. We are running a competition right now.
Yo, but there it is, man. Like I said, I know I paused a lot and I do apologize about that, but listen, there's a lot of things in this breakdown that I had to kind of like get confirmation for myself, and I ain't gonna hold you. Yo, Buddy did a real good job on that. Definitely hit that subscribe button on this dude, like for real, and like up the original video. He did a damn good job, man, like for real. And second, bro, I ain't gonna hold y'all. This got me super hyped for season 2, bro, on this show, man, because I got so many unanswered questions that I want to know about things. So I wonder, are there some of the managers that are there right now that were previous winners? Because think about it, they said 33 years, you know what I'm saying? Like, I got so many questions, bro. I have so many questions. What if some of the guys, right, the guys that are the VIPs, what if they were the first set of players that played the game? I mean, that could be a possibility. You know what I'm saying? Year 1, year 2, year 3. Because how many VIPs? Was like 5 or 6 of them? Like, what if like they were previous players at one point and they happened to win, and then they just got so much money they bored too? They just want to see other people die or something. I don't know. Who knows, bro? I don't know. Who knows? But yo, there's a lot of things to think about, man. Season 2 coming up whenever, we don't know. But guys, if you enjoyed this video, y'all already know, man. Hit that like button, comment, subscribe, man. And always, if you want to know when your boy drop another video, hit that bell notification. With all that being said, we getting up out of here. Peace.